that driving feeling. Oh, that driving feeling. In the snow.
Christian Car Guy Radio Show.
I say this calls for action, and now, nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud. You got to nip it in the bud.
You're driving me crazy.
In the snow.
What did I do?
In the snow.
Crazy. I'm crazy. Crazy.
Crazy snow drivers here in the South anyway. Over the last few days we got hit, and I think it went all the way from Dallas. It may have been through, Jerry, quite a ways.
Yeah, quite a bit of snow, and I think biggest portion of the United States, especially Midwest and South, got some.
So what happens, I am always astounded that people that would normally be rational, people that normally would drive, obey the laws and stuff like that, when it begins to snow, crazy things start to happen. It's like stop signs no longer mean stop. The people pull out, they go by you, all sorts of interesting things. So I thought it would be really fun today, Jerry. And we're live today, by the way, from the Men's Summit, the Triad Area Men's Summit here in Kernersville, North Carolina. We're going to get to all that in a minute. But I thought today you would enjoy playing my new game that I created just for this week. Johnny, go ahead and set it up so we can play.
It's time to play
Crazy.
In the snow.
Managing the Maniac Drivers in the Snow.
Yes, you can play Managing the Maniac Drivers in the Snow. All you have to do is call in today and win. You call in at 866-348-7884, 866-34-TRUTH. When you do, we are going to give you a topic similar to one I'm going to give. We've got Will Henry here from the Hardy.
Yes.
Will Hardy from the Triad Area Men's Summit, and we're going to let him play first. But before we do that, if you call in today, Johnny, tell them what they'll win. Johnny got brought in the snow himself, and so he's not quite ready with the Johnny music, but that's okay.
They're going to win something.
They'll
I'll
win a
guarantee
Truth
that.
prize pack.
Yeah, a Truth prize pack, which usually
as far as I know, unfortunately.
No, we have all kinds of books in the Christian Car Guy prize vault that we're just for everybody that calls in and has the courage to play Managing the Maniac Drivers in the Snow. 866-348-7884. So we're going to play first with Will. So, Will, before you even go out, it's snowing like crazy. You got 2 or 3 inches on the ground. Your car's covered in snow, and you're fixing to prepare to go out to drive. Here, Will, you play. Are you ready to play?
I am.
Managing the Maniac Drivers in the Snow. What would you do, Will?
Well, before I go out, and this is something that I've been doing for a while, since I grew up in Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Where in Michigan?
Detroit.
Okay.
And so I always prepare by 2 bags of sand in my trunk of my car, a small shovel, and emergency roadside kit. And those are the things that I use.
Wow, that's a great answer, Jerry. You like that?
I like that.
Okay. Well, we have a couple of suggestions for you. So you win, but just so you'll know, there's number one on the hit parade that Jerry found out this week that he towed, I don't know how many cars because they failed to do this. What, Jerry?
Yes, you know what? Leaving, bad weather, make sure you have enough gas to get there. And make sure, there's always the possibility when you leave and it's bad weather that you may be stuck on the side of the road or traffic is going to be backed up. So it's not going to be a normal 60-day weather ride into work or to the family's house or wherever it might be.
I have scenarios for you to play. So you need to call in. You're thinking right now, I'd like to challenge Robbie with this Managing the Maniac Drivers in the Snow game. 866-348-7884. Now, we have a very, very, very special guest with us, Lex Luger. Now, he has wrestled maniac drivers in the snow. I'm pretty sure, Lex, welcome to the Christian Car Guy Show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So, actually, you've been wrestling with people in the snow up in Buffalo for some time. That's where you live.
I have. I'm born and raised in it.
And so do you notice that when it snows, people drive a little different?
Not in Buffalo.
Really?
Every day, right?
We just keep on going. I was fascinated when I moved down south. I was down south for the past 30-plus years because the way they respond to somebody's in snow. Because in Buffalo, we get a foot and a half of snow, and we just get up the next morning and do what we got to do, and everybody just does what they normally do. They got, of course, the equipment and the plows and the sand, and we just keep on going, man. It doesn't faze us a bit. We shut down the South for 2 weeks, and we get up in the morning and go out and do what we normally do, right? You're from Detroit, right?
Exactly.
That's what we do. That's how we roll in Buffalo and Detroit.
Yes.
Lex, I was in Buffalo a few years ago, and going through an intersection is a whole new experience because the snow was packed up. Must have been 8 foot high. And you get
Was that all?
Yeah, it must have been a light snow.
Our snowdrifts can be stories high in Buffalo, Detroit.
And that was just wild.
Okay.
And everybody just sort of knew what to do. And I'm like, golly, what in the world? What do I do?
All right. Well, since we don't have anybody calling in to win, which we would love for you to do because this is going to be really fun, 866-348-7884, 866-34-TRUTH for the digitally gifted. We have all this stuff in the prize vault we're going to give you. And my questions are easy, actually. We gave Pastor Will a little bit of a difficult one to start out with, but Here's one for Lex, since he's there every day. You're pulling out in North Carolina, and you get behind somebody who is terrified, and they won't go over about 3 miles an hour. and you see a hill coming up, and you're in a rear-wheel drive car like my old Red that just it needs a little momentum to go up that hill, and you realize if I stay driving at 3 miles an hour behind this car in front of me, what do I do, Lex?
Take an alternate route. That was an easy one, wasn't it? That was a softball.
Yeah, I told you it was easy, and we got people calling in now, 866-348-7884. The other thing you can do, which I have done this, is just pull over and relax for a while and let them go ahead. If you're on the one route that you know you got to go on, just pull over. You got time, right? You make yourself plenty of margin, and just relax for 20 minutes or so they can get wherever it is that they're going, and then you can go on. But the alternate route is good. And then there's the famous always, what, Jerry?
Stay at home.
Yeah, don't go out at all.
Above my house, going up there's a hill to a stoplight, and I'll always, every bad weather, I sort of gauge it, wait for traffic to get through so I can keep momentum to go up the hill. And it'll, at least one time during a snowstorm, I'll watch for traffic to get up the top of the hill, but as soon as that light gets ready to turn green, then I'll start going. The car at the top of the hill will stop. Then we're hosed. Then there's people behind me, and so it is like everybody has to get out and help push them over the crest of the hill to get up through it. It's just amazing what people
All
think.
right, we have Ann is in Everett, Washington. She has been driving with Snow Driver. Welcome to the Christian Car Guys Show. Good morning.
Hi, this is Ann Bryce from near Seattle, actually the town of Mukilteo, which is near Everett, where the big Boeing plant is.
Wow, so you get a chance to drive in snow much?
Not very often, and that's the problem. The highway is called Airport Road, becomes a play station for four-wheel drive. It's very straight, and it's a couple miles long, and that's where they come to play. And many years ago, when four-wheel drives were first coming in, they were the big, bulky kind. I had to drive that road to get to school where I worked, and it was scary because all the cars that were in the ditches were four-wheel drive.
Naturally. Yeah, those are the guys that think they can go. So are you
ready
to
play? I know, and they had no idea what they were doing because they'd never had a four-wheel drive before.
So are you ready to play, Ann?
Sure.
I'm going to give you your scenario. Okay. You're
Okay.
heading out there in Everett, Washington. I won't try any of those other words that you just shared with
That's
us.
okay. Yeah, that
And
keeps
somebody-
me anonymous, right?
And you're driving what you think is a safe speed, say 35 miles an hour.
Yes.
It's normally 45, but it's slippery.
Right.
So you're going to have, during the break, you're going to be able to think about this, but you got somebody right on your tail. They are tailgating you like you're pretty sure they're going to bump into you any second. During the break, which, can you hang over for us? And we
Sure.
will let you get right back and tell us what Anna's going to do, but you need to call in while we're gone. 866-348.
It can cut you like a knife if the gift becomes a fire on the wire between will and what will be. She's a maniac. In the snow.
Maniacs in the snow today on the Christian Car Guy Show. We're actually playing Managing the Maniac Driver in the Snow. And we have Ann with us in Everett, Washington. In a minute, we've got Chad Chandler coming with Ford Motor Company. He's going to share some information about the new Ford Ranger, which we're excited to hear about. But in the meantime, we left Ann on the phone. She is going to tell us, what do you do? You're in the snow. You're thinking you need to drive a little bit under the speed limit, but this person behind you is trying to push you up to the speed limit. Ann, what do you do?
I try to pull over and I pray because these guys don't know how to drive four-wheel drive. I didn't even have one in those days. I have an all-wheel drive now. But, I mean, they think they're like sprouting wings. And so I try to pull over and let them get by me. Most of them are going the opposite way, which is also scary because they're weaving and tailing and everything going toward me as they are going to the Boeing plant.
Well, stay tuned because we have that question, too, coming up for somebody else to answer. But you're a winner. You won. But, Jerry, you got something to say about what percentage of the vehicles that you towed in last week were four-wheel drive?
Well, it's kind of strange, but it's probably about 40%. But when you go the severity of the accident, it's probably, on the high end. It's the most severe accidents because of speed and overconfidence that people have when they get behind a four-wheel drive vehicle.
So, Ann, you are a big winner, and you brought up a wonderful point. God bless you. Thank you for listening and for
thank you.
calling in this
It was
morning.
fun.
Yeah, it was. God bless.
Especially.
Well, I cut her off. I didn't mean to. But she should listen because we're going to be talking about that. But we are live today. If you're wondering why we sound a little different, we're live from the Triad Area Men's Summit, and we're so blessed we have the professional wrestler Lex Luger. And if you'd have been here during the break, you'd have heard of why his chest was the best to chop and stuff about blood and all sorts of interesting stuff. Well, we're going to get to that in a minute, but we got to get to Chad, who's calling in from Ford. Is it snowing up there, Chad? Good morning.
Good morning, Robbie. Thanks for having me.
So we've been talking about crazy snow drivers. You guys don't have those quite as much up in Michigan, do you?
We know a lot about crazy snow drivers in Michigan, that's for sure.
But speaking of crazy, well, I understand there's some crazy cool stuff going on with the new Ford Ranger. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited. I'm the marketing manager for the all-new Ford Ranger, and it's going to be a dynamite product. We just revealed it this week at the Detroit Auto Show, and information on our website. But it's going to be a phenomenal home run for Ford Motor Company for sure.
Yeah, at the Detroit Auto Show, everybody ought to in their life one time have an opportunity to attend. A show is not a good way to describe what that is it, Chad?
Yeah, it's an event. It is a huge facility with all the latest vehicles, and I believe the Ford Ranger was the star of the show this year.
I'll bet it was. So what was it that you feel like got people to come over to your booth to check it out?
Well, it's been a very highly anticipated return for the Ranger. We left the market about 8 years ago, and customers have been asking us nonstop when are we gonna bring the Ranger back, and we're here now. It's a product, if you're familiar with some of the Ford truck lineup, it's going to position us really well to extend and deliver a more maneuverable, garageable vehicle that people can drive in both the city as a daily use driver, as well as get off road on the weekends or what have you, and hit the trails and go camping with the family. We've really created a great product that can handle all of that. So we're really pumped about it.
And when I think Ford Ranger, I think about economy. What does that look like?
Yeah, so the Ford Ranger that we had in place was previously was truly like, it was a compact pickup truck. It was a smaller pickup truck. This one, the Ranger that we're launching now, will be a mid-sized pickup truck. So it'll be, it'll be a larger vehicle than the compact pickup that was out a few years ago. But it will be more nimble than what you're seeing in the full-size F-150, for example, size vehicle. But it'll have a lot of the same things that you expect from a truck, right? All the versatility and capability, but also a size that we think is a better fit for certain customers.
Plus all the technology.
Really,
what's big? The big news technology-wise, the new Ranger.
It's going to have. I mean, that's a great question. It's going to have all of the stuff you'd expect. Like, when I say expect, I mean expect from the very latest high-end vehicles. It's going to have autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection, which means your vehicle, if it sees an object or a person in your way, it's going to warn you, and if you don't react, it's going to pre-charge your brakes, and if you don't react to that, it's going to bring you to a complete stop. It's going to have adaptive cruise control, which will allow you to set cruise control and adjust the traffic speeds in front of you. It'll have blind spot indication systems, which will measure, it'll warn you not only if there's someone in your blind spot, also if somebody's in your trailer's blind spot. Lane keeping assist, premium audio, LED lamps, the whole 9 yards. But the real, I think, key technology is some of the off-road stuff we've got. Because this vehicle is really for the adventure seeker.
Good.
It'll have the system, and I'll just mention it briefly. It's called Trail Control. It'll be new to Ford. And really what it does is it's kind of like an off-road cruise control. You set a speed, and the system will maintain that speed, and it'll measure any kind of grip loss in your tires as you're in kind of a rough terrain, and it'll send individual braking and torque to each wheel. So it'll basically, long story short, is it'll get you out of trouble and it'll keep you out of trouble in an adverse terrain environment.
Wow, that is awesome. Well, Chad, I know you got to run. You got another interview. God bless you. I appreciate you being on with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. We look forward to the Ranger and hope you guys do as well.
All right. God bless you. Thanks for being with us. All right. When we come back, we're going to hear about wrestling with Lex Luger. I've been wanting to hear about this. Wrestling with crazy snow drivers. What do you do when that car comes with you the other way? And you got to call us, 866-348-7884, 866-34-TRUTH. So much more coming at you.
You're driving me crazy. In the snow. What did I do? In the snow.
Crazy snow drivers today on the Christian Car Guy Show. We're so grateful that you've tuned in. We are live today, by the way, from the Triad Area Men's Summit in Kernersville, North Carolina, and I am joined today with Pastor Will Hardy.
Yes.
And the professional for years wrestler, which I'm so excited about where we're going here in a minute, Lex Luger. Welcome back, Lex.
Thank you.
I was telling Lex during one of the breaks about my grandmother thought this Lex was, the man and the wrestler of all times. And it's a privilege sitting here beside you this morning.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? So you thought that you were wrestling with these snow drivers on your own. We got help for you today on the Christian Car Guy Show with Lex Luger. But you need to play because we have questions that we have yet to ask that we are dying to make sure that we get a chance to play this. So 866 348-7884 is the number to call in and play. We got plenty of books in the Christian Car Guy prize vault to give away. 866-348-7884. But I got to get to the question that I've been dying to ask ever since I thought about it. I was going to get the opportunity to talk to Lex. So this week, I have been studying in a new way Jacob's wrestling match. And being a Christian here at the Men's Summit, I wonder, as a wrestler all those years, how you see that wrestling match, which is it's portrayed in Scripture as a little bit, there's sort of a mystery. Was he wrestling with an angel? Was he wrestling with a man? Was it Jesus he was wrestling with? One thing we know is it apparently put some kind of hold on him. Tell us what your thoughts are on that.
Well, one of my mentors always told me, never trust a man without a limp. So, relating to that, means I guess it means you've been through some stuff, you fought for it, he wanted his blessing, and he wasn't going to give up. That's what we do here at these summits. We're here to inspire and encourage each other as men, and Jacob wanted his blessing, man. He didn't want to let go. And it's like God, the hand of God marked him, so he would never forget. Because us men, when things are going good, we can forget that it's God who's lifting us up, Amen. Right? Amen. So that's kind of my take on it, for what it's worth, of what I've been taught.
Praise your brother, preach it.
And absolutely. And, we can't help but note that you're in a wheelchair. So as Esau saw his brother coming limping, right? And it's interesting, too, that the Israelites to this day, they won't eat that part of a sinew of the hip of an animal because they are remembering Jacob. They're remembering him for his weakness. Like Paul, he boasted about his weakness. But I'm interested, Lex, as you come with your wheelchair, that adds a different aspect to your message, doesn't it?
Yeah, it turned out to be a real blessing for me. I was given some scripture, 2 Corinthians 12, verse, you referred to it, 7, 8, 9.
Right.
It talks about Paul had that thorn in his flesh he wanted removed, and we have challenges in our life, not just physical, but from mine, obviously, from all my injuries and things, physical. It really was a blessing to me that my grace will always be sufficient for you. My power works best in weakness. So we're actually usually, if we get, for me, I was so much of the outside of the physical before I became a born-again believer that I kept on wanting that to get in the way. And really, when God removed the big muscle guy Lex from my spinal cord injury, which is what happened, and I felt I could feel the power of God working more in and through me because God got more of me out of the way.
Amen.
If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. There's a prayer that somebody gave me one time that the Pilgrims prayed, which was, Lord, quarry me deeply to get some of that out of me so that you can, put me in there. And you've lost a lot of weight.
100 pounds of muscle, yeah. And I was very prideful about that. I'd walk in a room and all heads were turned. So it's really been it was an adjustment at first, but God walked me through it, and it's turned into an incredible blessing in my life.
And so here he is from Buffalo, where all the crazy snow drivers don't are. We go down here. But and you've come down here with your old, what do you call him? Nikita Koloff would be your
friend, foe at various times throughout our wrestling career, yeah.
And so you got to tell our listeners about the chops to the chest.
Okay.
You had said that they told you that you were the best one to chop.
One of the best.
Oh, not the best.
Yeah, I wasn't a chopper like Wahoo McDaniels we talked about earlier. Ric Flair, anybody who knows wrestling, one of their big moves is that they chop guys with their hand across their chest. It makes a huge sound, hopefully. and so I was told by Ric Flair and Wahoo, especially Ric Flair, that I had a great chest for chopping. Now, Wahoo, his hurt more than Ric Flair's because he had hands on him that were like a frying pan. Big, thick, tough hands. And when he chopped me, we talked about in the break that he literally, the blunt force trauma was with the palm hand, but his fingers, he had these big, thick, and they would cut me open because I'm sweating. And so literally after the match, I'd walk out of the ring, and for every finger mark he had in my chest, blood dripping down my chest from where he broke my skin open. And I literally, to this day, from Flair, I used to wrestle him sometimes 100 nights in a row.
Really?
And once he'd break you open with his chops, my chest, I still to this day have I call them Ric Flair scars on my chest. From when I do long programs with Rick for 3-4 months in a row. So I still, every time I take a shower and I'm toweling off, okay, thanks, Rick, and I'm toweling myself off.
Well, we have Gloria also in Everett, Washington. She wants to play, so we're going to get her on. Gloria, you're on the Christian Car Guy Show. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am so grateful that you called in this morning. Do you get a little snow up there in your neck of the woods?
No, we don't get much snow, but I grew up in the Midwest. I
Uh-huh.
learned to drive the winter in Salt Lake City. And I'm not afraid of the snow, but I am afraid of the maniacs that are out there.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead. Are you ready to play?
Yes.
Okay, well, here's this one may not be too difficult, but I'm sure we've all had it happen. The driver in front of you has failed to clean his car off, and so he is shooting ice bombs at you as you go along. What do you do, Gloria?
Well, there are several things you can do depending on the area around you. Sometimes you can go around them, and if you can't, you just have to kind of,
Now, as you go around, do you wave anything at them?
No,
I'm sorry, I couldn't help.
See me waving at it anyway. I wonder why are people so stupid?
You meant the thumbs up, right?
No, I don't do anything except try to get away from them.
Yeah, that was my mother's advice, was get away and pray.
And if you can't, sometimes I have pulled over and waited for them to get away from me.
Now that right there, you're a winner. That's exactly what I think you can do, is pull over and let them go on and shoot their ice bombs elsewhere.
Well, pretty soon there won't be any left.
Well, Gloria, you're a winner. Thank you for calling in today. God bless you.
You're welcome.
It was so awesome. All right, you can call in and win. 866-348-7884, 866-34-TRUTH. Now, Jerry, have you ever had any repairs where an ice bomb has taken out a windshield or somebody was following?
Yeah, that busted out grills, dents on hoods, and that type. Especially when people follow in behind tractor and trailers, especially where it happens more frequently is whenever they'll get behind a tractor and trailer that have been sitting overnight, like in a truck stop. So that stuff is built up on top of it, and they get out on the highway and it's sliding off and get quite a bit of damage. People don't realize, they just think snow, but that's a lot of weight, and stuff starts freezing, especially that ice will cause some damage. We see a lot of that at the body shop, and
yeah, that's something to think about when you get out to drive your car. You think, well, I don't have the time, but you don't realize that literally, you could kill somebody.
Well, and another little thing about talking about ice sliding off, people who will pull their car up to their house, and when that stuff starts melting, it slides off in sheets. A lot of times people have the front of their car pulled right up to the house where the roof line is, and that stuff just falls right down. And we'll do a ton of repairs on hoods and stuff that's from
even under a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful. That stuff slides off. Well, 866-348-7884 is the number to call in and win. We got one more segment for you to play. Man, is that maniac driver in the snow? 866-348-7884. We come back. We got more Lex. We got Pastor Will Hardy, who's going to give us insight, as well as our good friend Jerry. Got so much more Christian Car Guy Show coming up.
Well, if you ever plan to go to West, oh Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. Oh Lord, our Lord, how majestic is your name in all the earth. The heavens declare your greatness.
Well, Welcome back to the Christian Car Guy radio show. Today we are managing the Maniac drivers in the snow. We still have a few more minutes for you to call in and play. 866-348-7884. I really wonder if somebody wants to take on I have a really tough question, one that may save somebody's life. The tough question. Are you ready to take that on? 866-348-7884, 866-34-TRUTH. Today we are live from the Men's Summit, the Triad Area Men's Summit in Kernersville, North Carolina. And for those of you who may be in the Triad area and you're thinking, wow, I want to get over there and see Tony Evans, I want to see Lex Luger, I want to see Nikita Koloff, I want to see Will Hardy, or you want to see Jerry Mathis, who knows, but it's at 1130 North Main Street in Kernersville, North Carolina, 27234. I realize everybody can't get over here, but you may want to know that. It's 1130 North Main Street, Kernersville, North Carolina, 27234. And Will, speaking of this event, you guys had a big breakfast this morning. Tony Evans has really brought some messages. Can you share a little bit about your heart for this ministry and how you got involved in it?
Yes. Yesterday actually was the breakfast with Tony Evans, and he talked a little bit about how men need to be men instead of males. And he went on to break ground with respect to how to transform the role of a man into discipleship. And this is what he's talking about right now as we are on the air. But I got involved with the ministry. It was a vision by Roy Jones, and he actually asked me to come alongside because we worked together. And it was just a thing that he had for men, his ability to just reach out, love on men. And so he asked me to become vice president of the Triad Area-wide Christian Men's Ministry, and we've been with him for the last 4 years. This is the 4th year that the summit has been going on.
Yeah, and they had like over 880 people at the event last night, and right now it's like standing room only in there. It looks like you've maxed out again, and Lex Luger again with I hate that you couldn't hear the discussion about wrestling because in the South, what are the 3 R's? What do they call them, Lex?
Racing for NASCAR, wrestling, and religion.
Well, we got 2 out of the 3. Anyway.
There you go. Where's Dale Earnhardt Jr. when we need him?
So, you got Nikita. You're going to be with Nikita today.
I will be.
And what do you feel like? I know you don't know, because this is an interesting thing that he doesn't know yet exactly where they're going, but where do you feel like Nikita is going to go this morning?
Well, I spoke with Nikita. I have the privilege of speaking with him many times. He's one of my mentors now, and I kind of follow his lead on these things, and he asked me to chime in here and there, so that's why. But we usually want to see men healthy, as far as physically, and mentally, and of course, first and foremost, spiritually. So we usually address how those tie together and work together, and for men to be the best they can be for the honor and glory of God. So
physically, since you obviously way excel anybody sitting at this table in that area in your life, what do you recommend physically for guys?
Well, we don't want to, as men of faith, we want men of God to take their bodies for granted. So we wanted to take good care of their body nutritionally and a little bit of exercise and stuff like that. It's not our most popular of the 3, but
I know, but it is the area where. So, what was your secret back in the day that you would nutritionally that you felt like this is something I got to do or got to eat or?
When I speak to them, it's not so much what we want people to make healthy choices, and we do usually talk about that a little bit. But for me, I find that for most of us, it's just eat smaller, more frequent meals. So it's top 3 tips I usually give you is portion control. And us guys, I grew up in a family, we all love to eat. I used to eat 6,000 to 10,000 calories a day back in the day. So that didn't go away. So for me, it's just mainly portion control. Then we try to steer people towards healthier choices, of course.
And so the level from a standpoint of spiritually exercising, what is that? What in your mind, what does that look like?
Well, we just try to get men to have set aside time whatever time of day it is in the morning, to read God's Word and pray and move them towards conversational prayer throughout the day, and not just a set time. But we find most of us, men, myself included, if you don't set aside time in the morning, the evening, whatever works best for you and in your schedule, it's good to get locked in on a certain time with reading God's Word and prayer, and it's just so we like to encourage guys along that regard.
Yeah,
be disciplined.
I can't even imagine my life if I didn't have that time in the morning. It would be a pretty dry place to be. But speaking of dry, we have this question, and nobody called in that they didn't want to challenge me. That's okay. I understand. I have Lex Luger in front of me, and I'll let him be challenged by this so he can play. So the driver in front of you, the car is approaching. It's out of control, and it's spinning, and it's clearly headed towards you. What do you do in Buffalo, New York, in that circumstance?
Spinning out of control, headed towards me.
Right.
Well, prayer's a good thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that is a great.
Just try to avoid them if possible.
And Jerry,
make avoidance measures. I mean,
feel free to jump in here. But say you're on a two-way road. Here comes this car. It's headed for you. It's obviously, if you don't do something, it's going to be bad. And so, unfortunately, I think most people go to the right. They head for but unfortunately, that's where they're headed. So I've heard it said by experts, and I can't help but think if you head towards where they are, they won't be there when you get there.
That's the train of thought, is that if you go to where they're at now, they're not going to be there when you get there. And that's sort of been that's one of the rules that the NASCAR, we talked about racing. NASCAR spotters. I had a cousin who still is a NASCAR spotter, and he says I always tell him to go where he sees the accident. Try to go to the accident, because most of the time when they get there, it's cleared out.
Right, and actually our producer Howard and I were talking on the way over.
Did Howard get that right?
He had it exactly. He had that situation where the car in front of him T-boned another car, and he knew that logic, and he headed right for the accident. And he came right straight through, because by the time you get there, they're gone. And so rather than pull to the right, which is essentially where they're headed, you've lost the ability to maneuver over there. So it's a dangerous situation, and undoubtedly right there, I like the idea of prayer. So we're going to say
you better be doing a lot of prayer doing that. When you're going there, start praying, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Pray hard. But real quick, and I'm going to say this while Lex is sitting here. Growing up watching, and not just growing up, just being an adult watching you in the ring, you're always a warrior. And to me, sitting here with you as a brother, with all my brothers here, you're a warrior for Jesus Christ now, and you have that same passion, that same desire, that same drive. Man, that is an encouragement to me, and I know it is for everyone sitting here also. And
well, kind words, my friend. Thank you. To God be the glory.
Absolutely.
And what a neat thing, really, Will, that you guys organize this event, and we're surrounded right now by hundreds of men as they're coming out from having heard.
Literally,
yeah, and really to get the men in the triad an opportunity to come in here and hear such a Bible teacher as Tony Evans, just awesome.
Yeah, because I think men, we sort of are like a special breed. When it comes to, sharing our feelings and opening ourselves up. And here at the Men's Summit, we give them that opportunity through the breaks that we're on right now. And so men can interact with other men and connect with other men, and also, share those things that may be on their heart, where in an environment not like this, they may not have that opportunity.
All right, we got about 10 seconds. So thank you for listening to the Christian Car Guy Show. As always, remember, slow down. Jesus walked everywhere.